we go on the Wednesday edition. Mr. Relevant, I'm Alex Strouf with you from the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All Studios at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. Joshie DiMaggio not here yet. He will be eventually, and Will Sommers here and running the show for us on this Wednesday ahead of Packers-Bears wildcard weekend coming up Saturday at Soldier Field. It's all Packers-Bears all the time this week because this is a big-time matchup, man. It's the biggest game between these two teams in 15 years since they played in the NFC Championship game in the 2010 season, 2011 calendar year. And really, I mean, as we've talked about plenty, and I'll talk my trash at some point today, but I just want to be like realistic and view it correctly for a few moments without trolling and without talking trash. This is really, really neat for the rivalry, and this is it's cool that there is this level of stakes again for the first time since 2010, and seemingly there will be stakes to this rivalry going forward as the Bears, I think, have finally figured it out. Now this year it seems like they're ahead of schedule, but seemingly they should be a good team going forward, and obviously we believe the Packers will always be good because they always have been, at least in my life. So I enjoy that this game has stakes. I enjoy that this game is happening, despite the fact that I am anxiety-riddled and anxious and have butterflies in my stomach 4 days ahead of time, which we will get to in a moment. Do want to have the Matt LaFleur conversation again today because it seems to be heating up as Black Monday occurred on Monday, and there's openings, and John Harbaugh gets fired yesterday, and it just continues to peddle more of, should the Packers move on? Should the Packers extend him? And I want to dive into that conversation with Joshie at some point today. But Joshie, are you anxious like I am already? Like I got butterflies in my tummy 4 days ahead of time, and I find that strange.
No. I feel like we've done this so much recently that it's made the anxiety go away. I mean, we've done this, 3 times in 6 weeks?
Yeah, I guess the math is close to that. 3 times in 7, 3 times in 6, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm past that portion of the anxiety. The thing, maybe the differentiator for me is I would love to beat the Chicago Cubs, but Bears.
You already did that.
I don't think the Packers have much future beyond that. So it would be great to win that game, but it's not going to mean a whole lot to me if there isn't the grand prize at the end. And that's maybe why I'm less amped up, anxious.
Yeah, so I guess I feel similarly because I guess expectations for the Packers are different. You said Cubs on accident, but I'll compare it to the Brewers quick because it was the same setup, right? Well, first round of the playoffs for the Brewers was against the Cubs, and they ultimately win that series and end their rival season when you knew getting to a World Series is probably unlikely, but the expectations were different. This is year one of being all in for the Packers. Now, injuries, I think, played the biggest role, but there was also some inconsistencies throughout the season that's going to prevent them from winning a Super Bowl. We can all agree on that. But I guess for the first time ever, Joshie, this is kind of the Packers' Super Bowl when playing the Bears. It's the Bears' Super Bowl every year when they play the Packers, but yeah, could they win a divisional round game? I do think they could, the Packers, but I don't think they're winning a Super Bowl with this state of the team. No Micah Parsons, no Tucker Kraft, no Devontae Wyatt, who's their best run stopper. We saw what happened without him against the Ravens and what Derrick Henry was able to do. But this is a big-time matchup. So I guess I disagree in terms of I'm still nervous, I'm amped up, just because it's the rivalry and all the trash talking the Bears fans have been doing. It's a road test for the Packers for the third straight year. I still think they're the better team in the game, which is why I think I'm amped up. But it's fun. I got butterflies. I'm fired up, Joshie. Come on, let's go. Get on my level. It's playoff football still. I don't care if they're not going to win a Super Bowl.
That's never going to happen for me. What? I just don't experience things the same way.
I wish you did.
No.
I wish, even for a day. I just wish you saw the world how I see the world.
No.
I think the world would be a better place for it, frankly.
Oh, do you? That's interesting. Maybe I argue the exact opposite.
You think if there was more me, the world would be a worse place?
No, if there was more me, it would be a better place.
Will, help me out here. I know we don't agree on much this week, especially. But if there was more Joshies, the world would be a worse place. If there was more me's, the world would be a better place.
I'm not going to say better or worse because that's really up for interpretation. I think the world would be a more realistic place if there were more Joshes, and less realistic if you were there, which isn't a bad thing. I'm not hating on you for that, but that's just kind of how it is.
Well, Jordan chimes in. Josh is the ultimate pessimist. And I don't think we need more pessimism in the world right now. There's a lot going on in the world.
But you do need pessimism.
No, you need realism. You need realism. You don't need you don't need optimism or pessimism, but you'd prefer optimism.
And if we're going to talk about who's the more realistic of the two of us,
Me.
yeah,
I'm a very realistic guy.
you walked yourself into that one, realized you made a big mistake, and had to lie to the MIA.
I apologize for lying, MIA. I'm just going to be honest with you.
Should we tally how many times Strouf lies to the MIA in 2026?
That's the first big one.
We can tally that. I don't think it'll happen as much as you think. Like, what would you set the over-under
Well, would you
lie at?
admit it as much as like you actually are wrong or lied?
Well, there's a difference between being wrong and lying.
I feel like you had, because we end up in these debates rather often, the you and I back and forth thing. And what ends up happening is I can trick you into disagreeing with yourself, and then you just have to say something I know you don't believe.
No.
Yeah.
What are you talking about? So now you're lying to the MIA.
That's a consistent through line. If I just let you go enough, I'll catch you. I'll snare you like a little snare you see them using on Naked and Afraid to catch animals. That's me setting snares around.
I cannot believe the analogy Josh just made. You watch Naked and Afraid?
Oh, it's my favorite guilty pleasure TV show.
Really?
Uh-huh. I don't know why. I don't think it's particularly good, but it is entertaining watching those people try and survive.
I don't know that I've ever watched that.
Yeah, I mean it's my what would you call
Comfort
it?
show.
Yeah, it's like a
I thought guilty pleasure was fair.
yeah, like the way you watch things and you go, this is no good, but it still entertains me or tickles a part of my brain. That's what that show is for me.
It's also a show that just comes on after, like, say you're watching like a football game and you just leave the channel on and it'll come on randomly. It's kind of like in Practical Jokers, like during the MLB playoffs, like when it's on TNT, just always comes on after the game.
Yeah. Shout out Impractical Jokers. Good show.
Are they still going?
Yeah, without one of the guys whose name I always forget. Joe Gatto. Joe Gatto left.
How could you forget Joe?
But Sal V, what's his name? V? No, not V. Don't tell me.
It is a V, I believe.
Well, Sal Vulcano, but there's one guy that goes by one name or one letter.
I've never watched the show.
What's his name? I'm blanking on it. It's Sal Vulcano, the one letter guy, and the bald guy, Murr. Why am I blanking on his name? Anyway, not important. So, yeah, I like that show. Yeah, they're still going. I haven't watched it in a long time.
I saw a video of somebody the other day that said they were just caught in one of the pranks or something like that. Like, how are those guys not recognized? Like
everywhere they go?
Yeah, like you're getting pranked by them.
I mean, you just have to do more and more layers.
Lance chimes in. It's Q. It's Q. That's what I was thinking. I knew it was a letter.
Yeah, Josh lied. He said it was V. Josh lied, tally one.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good catch, Will.
I was saying Sal's name was V.
It is Sal Vulcano. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Brian Q. Quinn. Yeah, that's it, Matt.
Since I was so accountable for the NFL picks, I'll be reliable for the lie detector.
Okay.
Speaking of the lie detector, I think Josh lied twice because he is going to sleep over at your house next week.
I don't know if that's a lie or not. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, only time will tell.
There's also a chance I won't be in town next week.
Yeah, I've got some dinner plans on Saturday.
You going to wear a cardigan again?
Yeah, probably. I'm going to a nice establishment.
Did I tell you what happened to me regarding cardigans? And then we'll get back to the Packers and Bears?
You've told me nothing to do with you and cardigans.
So on my birthday, you came out after you were doing a thing. You had a nice dinner with your significant other, and then you went to something, and then you
the Harry Potter symphony show.
Yes, and then you came to a bar and you met out. You met up with me, my lady. Will was there.
Mm-hmm.
You were rocking a cardigan, great outfit. For those of you that didn't hear me explain it on Monday, I'm still blown away by this. It's been a month, and we left there, and my girlfriend said to me, "I think we got to get you a cardigan." So on Christmas Eve, or on the 23rd, after me and my girlfriend did our gifts, I think on the 22nd. And on the 23rd, we had to go pick up some stuff for my nieces, so we were out and about shopping. And she goes, "Hey, we're going to make a pit stop. I'm getting you an outfit for Christmas Eve with your family, and I'm going to buy you a cardigan because Josh rocked that cardigan." So I wore a cardigan on Christmas Eve.
Wow.
Thanks to you.
I didn't know I was setting trends that way.
Should we do a cardigan day? Like Fridays, we wear cardigans?
Do you own a cardigan?
I could make that happen.
Yeah, cardigan isn't a tough thing to purchase.
Actually, it was harder to find than you would think.
Yes, so like a cable knit one, sort of like the one I have with the bigger.
Okay, now you're going too far into
I don't know.
fashion. I don't know what that means.
Does the one you got look similar to mine?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's like the cable knit where it's like bigger woven material. Because you've seen plenty of the cardigans where it's just like the classic sweater material.
Sure.
But yeah, the cable knit, it ups it a little bit. And I mean, frankly, it's not, you just put a t-shirt on underneath
That's
it.
exactly what I did. White t-shirt, brown cardigan.
Yeah, and you look nice.
And a fresh pair of jeans. Yeah.
Cardigan show in 2026.
We'll do a cardigan show. Well, you need to get one.
We
if we're
are
gonna
a
do
cardigan
If
show.
I wore a
yeah,
cardigan
yeah.
here, people would look at me like I had 5 heads, much like you did when I arrived.
Well, right.
Yeah.
You weren't wearing a hat. You actually have a nice head of hair, which I didn't. I figured you always wore hats because you're balding. That's like a
I
normal
mean,
thing.
I am, but there's enough there to.
What's it going to take to do a hair reveal on the show?
Well, I would have to be a non-hair because when this hair, after being, because I put a hat on, 10 minutes after showering, I look like a full bald by the time, you've got the hat head going with the hair matted down.
Sure.
But if you style it, it looks fine, looks acceptable.
Josh, he's a fashionista. Something I discovered.
You
recently.
just can't get over it. Like
No,
when he came out wearing
Dude,
the cardigan, you were.
But you have to understand, I've known Josh for 5 years. I've known Josh for 5 years now. I have never seen him in anything other than a flannel and a baseball cap. That's all he ever wears to work.
Sweatshirts.
Sure, hoodies sometimes. Yeah, hoodies sometimes.
Yeah.
But that's all he wears to work, ever. I've known him for 5 years, Will. 5. And I've never seen him dress up for anything.
Maybe you just don't know him as well as I do.
Well,
It only took me 1 year to see him like that.
it's a fair point, I guess.
That's fair.
Got me there.
Yeah, I mean, you only bust out a few times. I mean, obviously weddings are different. There's plenty of people here who've seen me. You would have seen me at Ben Bruss, but I wasn't invited. But I don't wear hats there.
Yeah, he's not over that either, Will. Might as well point that out while we're at it.
I obviously don't wear, but our content manager here had a wedding. I was there, dressed up, doing the whole thing. But yeah, I have no interest in who am I impressing.
Matthew chimes in. Josh is the most Midwestern stereotypical guy on this show, which is actually saying something because I'm right up there.
Yeah.
Yeah, of like ESPN Wisconsin Midwestern stereotypical. Who do we got? It's me, you. Probably throw Gabe in there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe's a different type though because he's just wearing golf gear 24/7.
That might be the list.
Yeah.
Tausch?
Tausche.
Yeah.
Definitely Tausche.
I mean, Tausch wears a vest.
Everywhere he goes.
It's vest season from like September 1st to
April 15th.
like April, maybe into June.
We're skipping May.
Yeah.
All right, that was a good start to the show. Let's get into the Packers-Bears now. Packers-Bears all the time, like I said at the beginning of the show, which we didn't do for 12 minutes. So I saw a statistic yesterday, and it's moved a little bit. I think about 70% of the public money is now on the Bears because the Packers are slightly favored now. Their line keeps moving up. They're 1.5-point favorites as it stands right now. By the time we talk on Friday, that'll move again. But when you look
By the way, there's an interesting thing that you should know about money line and betting and trends and stuff like that. If something, so the Packers, I've seen a lot of places where the Bears are, I think it's minus or plus 1.5, and you have to lay juice on that. That's the sportsbook begging you to bet on the Bears.
Yeah.
Because they think the Packers are going to win.
Yeah.
And this year so far, I believe the trend has been if 70% or more of the money is on a team, 70% of the time the other team wins.
That was a convoluted statistic,
Yes.
but we're going to allow it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So at 7 out of 10 times, if the majority of people to the tune of 70% think one or pick one team to win, most likely the other team's going to win.
Which is why they build big casinos and sports
Yes.
books, right? Exactly.
Uh-huh.
I mean, that's ultimately.
Yes, people love to
what that
think
means.
their books are trying to balance money. No, they're not. They're trying to take your
They're
money.
trying to take money. and they are very good at
Yes.
it. They're very good
Well,
at it.
the casinos aren't doing it for the greater
But
good.
I saw something, and I'm gonna name the app, but like I've heard not so good things about this app, so I'm not affiliated with it at all. But I saw this last night that exactly 50% of the money was on each team. At one point last night, this is on Kalshi, where you can bet
Yes.
on literally everything.
That thing also looked like a barcode, how much it was changing,
yeah,
like back and forth.
Right. Yeah. So you saw that graphic too?
Yes.
Yeah. So Kalshi said, it's 50-50. And I mean, seriously, if you look at the line this week, it's gone back and forth multiple times.
It's a pick 'em.
Exactly. It's a pick 'em, which I think is why I feel anxious and I have the butterflies in my tummy. Like, obviously, the gravity of this situation, the gravity of this game, it gives you the butterflies in and of itself if you're a big enough fan. But it feels a little bit to me, I'm going to try an analogy here, Joshy.
Mm-hmm.
Will, you let me know how this
luck.
goes.
Yeah.
It feels a little bit to me like when you send a late night you up text. Like you're like, it's a 50% chance you get a response. It's a 50% chance you go, why the hell did I do that
You
last
wake
night?
up in the morning and go, that wasn't
a wise choice.
Advice.
That was a bad idea.
It might just be me, but from personal experience, that's less than 50%.
I guess I'm speaking to my personal experience back when I sent those texts. Humble brag. But I bring that up as the analogy because I think, and granted, I do not have a ton of experience sending those texts, but the few times I did, I was always like, might have been a bad idea. I'm feeling a little confident, but it might not work. And that's kind of how I feel about this football game. Like, I do believe the Packers will win. I do believe the Packers will advance to the divisional round, and I do think Jordan Love will have a good game regardless of the weather circumstances on Saturday at Soldier Field. But I still feel a little nervous because it's playoff football, and every statistic you look at pretty much says it's a coin flip, and that part of it is strange because you can look around the betting odds this weekend in the NFL, and there's at least like a 2.5, 3-point spread in every game except this one. Right, and you look at like the Rams-Panthers. Rams are 10-point favorites. A lot of these games are close spreads. I think 5 of the 6 are less than 5 points, but only one is within 2 points, and that is Packers-Bears, and it has moved between each team. So that tells you, frankly, and Josh just said, yeah, the sportsbooks are kind of leaning on the Packers to win, but that tells you nobody knows how the hell this is going to play out. These are two very evenly matched teams despite the record. The Packers are decimated with injury, but they do have a healthy quarterback. They have seen the Bears twice. They know how to game plan against them. It's a really fun game coming up on Saturday, and the 50-50 nature of it just elevates the stakes.
It's hard for sports books to look at the results you've seen for the past 2 games for the Packers and Bears and definitively think one team is a lot better than the other. The fact that it is ostensibly a pick'em or a 50-50 shot tells you that on a neutral site, the sports books and the people who are paid to have these opinions and to build these rankings and make the lines think the Packers are a better team. It's just when you add in the factor of home field advantage and the changes that occur through that, then that balances the scales really evenly. The Packers were winning for 58 minutes, and then they ended up losing that game. And I don't think you can take away really all that much from that other than that game is probably more lopsided towards the Packers with Jordan Love on the field.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of factors that go into a game. There's a potential of turnovers, like we saw from Josh Jacobs. Like, it might not even be Jordan Love is the reason to contributing to that. It's just that they're going to play it so close that there's no real side to pick here with any confidence where you wouldn't be risking losing your sportsbook money.
Yeah. God, you are such a nerd.
Sorry.
I mean, it helps me understand and comprehend some of these things, but boy, are you a dork.
Yeah, I mean, that's just how my brain works.
I hear you. Also, I love analyzing our YouTube chat. It's always, I love the MIA and everybody that's participating here. So the chat started today with some of our regulars, Tyler, Matthew, Joe, Jordan, who are almost always here on Mr. Relevant, Chris, and I appreciate you guys hanging out and always being active in the chat on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, which if you're listening on the podcast side, reminder, we do this live 12:30 Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 12:30 Central, and you can join in on the chat at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. But earlier in the chat, a couple of these guys were discussing, hey, Bears fans continue to invade ESPN Milwaukee. Mm-hmm. Right, and they go, oh, where's Bears fan Erica, who's been hanging out for the last few weeks? And somebody said, I just looked at the ESPN Chicago chat, and she's talking about Glad and hefty bags. Well, look who chimes in with the following comment. Will Packers be using heftier Glad bags to clean out their lockers on Saturday? Erica has appeared, and somebody warned us 10 minutes ago that was coming.
Yeah.
That's terrific. That's terrifically done by everybody in our chat. That's well done. No, sorry, Giuseppe. Yes, Giuseppe Joseph, which, excuse me. But amazing.
Yeah, there's been a lot of camping out in the chat.
I love it.
I appreciate the views.
It's not even that. It's more so.
It's all about the views.
The numbies.
Brett chimes in, Strouf, if you read fiction like Josh, you would be thinking like that.
True.
I'm a nonfiction guy for the time being. However, I talked to our boss, Greg Scalzi, yesterday.
Yeah.
And or maybe 2 days ago this was. And I was talking to him about wanting to pick up reading as kind of one of my hobbies this year. And he said, you need to start reading fiction.
Yes.
So he said the same thing as you. And you two, I hate to give you credit like this, but you're two of the smartest guys I know, and I regularly interact with. Mm-hmm. So I think I have to actually take you at your word and probably pick up fiction. So I eventually, I'm going to take a recommendation from you on where
there's definitely things that I think you would thoroughly enjoy that I could borrow you the books.
Okay.
And you would.
I've got 2 nonfiction. I got to finish this one, and then I have another one that I bought over the holidays.
And there's nothing like there's certain subjects where I definitely think is worth a nonfiction read.
So like one I want to read. It's on my Goodreads. I want to read. I just look up Alex Strouf on Goodreads if you want to be my friend. Lorne Michaels. There's a book about him that was written last year for the 50th anniversary.
I'm not so interested in biographies.
You're not.
I'm a subject matter thing.
I like both.
Yeah.
I like expanding my knowledge. It's just like I said on Monday. It's just like Wikipedia. Just like Wikipedia, the rabbit holes I go down. All right, let's get to this. Gut check. So I mentioned my anxiety and how I'm feeling. But like, the question I mostly want to ask is, what gives you confidence on Wednesday? And I'll probably ask you this again on Friday, both of you. But given that you're on opposite sides of the aisle, I'm curious if there's one thing or maybe a couple things or kind of just a stream of consciousness that comes to mind when I say, what gives you confidence your team will win on Saturday? Will, I want to start with you and the Bears. We're doing a respectful chat, so no shots here.
I'll be respectful.
Okay, be respectful. When I ask you, what gives you confidence the Bears will win on Saturday, what comes to your mind?
I think, honestly, for both sides, it's the same thing that gives each team confidence about themselves, and that's a weak defense and then an offense getting off to a slow start. The Packers, obviously, with all the injuries to Jordan Love, people not playing last week, you don't know how they're going to come out. Like the first 2 games, I feel like they came out pretty well. Not the second game so much with obviously Jordan Love getting hurt, but Caleb Williams too in both games did not really get going until the second half or late in the fourth quarter. So I think that and then the weakness of the defenses, the Bears defense pass defense more specifically has been abysmal the past couple weeks. The 49ers gave him hell. Jared Goff gave him hell last week. And same with the Packers, like the run defense hasn't been there, and the Bears love to run the ball. So I think like for both teams, the confidence lies in the defenses being weak on both sides of the ball. And I think it's really just a matter of fact of what offense is going to come out and score on their first couple of drives.
I do agree with that. I think a fast start will be key to winning this game. But also, I think there's a very real possibility both teams come out fast.
There's also the thing with the Bears is that, like, no matter how many points they're down, like, they could always just pull something.
So here's the thing with that. And again, I'm not being disrespectful. It's just my true evaluation of it. I view that as a little fluky.
Oh. I mean, they've done it like 6 times
that's
this year,
the part where you can say, it's not fluky. They've done it consistently.
The thing is, aside from teams that are to the level of the Chiefs and with Patrick Mahomes, which I think even regardless of what you think of Caleb Williams or Jordan Love for that matter, those guys aren't there. So consistently winning one-score margins, we've learned throughout the history of the NFL, those are usually coin flip situations. So when you have a bunch of those games go your way, it could last through the rest of the season, and the Bears could be in an NFC Championship game eking wins out that are impossible. But we do know that those things, as we talked about with baseball, those things typically regress. And the regression could happen on Saturday, or it could happen in the Super Bowl, or it might not happen at all. And we're talking about it next year going, this team is going to have to, take a step back, right? Yeah. They're not going to be able to continue to pull all these out. So to me, it is fluky, but there is also a somewhat of a skill there to a certain degree. Like,
sure.
Typically, like young teams are going to end up on the wrong side of those more often than not. Whereas a more veteran team, they're going to know how to do the right things. They're not going to let an onside kick bounce off their chest. Things that help secure victories.
Mm.
Yeah, and to your point, like the past 2 games for the Bears, late game situations haven't gone their way after accomplishing 6 of them earlier in the year.
I thought it was that game on Sunday was bonkers.
Yeah, it just didn't go for it.
Well, but it started off, what was it? I think it was
16-0 with like 4 or 5 minutes left.
And then the Bears score twice, convert both 2-point conversions, tie it up, and then the Lions obviously win on a walk-off field goal. But that was a game that just looked like it wasn't going to go the Bears' way, and I thought they were going to pull the starters at some point.
It's a very consistent.
But they play football over there.
It's a very consistent theme.
That was disrespectful.
I have a gripe with that.
Uh-oh.
I just think that Packers fans and people that cover the Packers taking that as a shot is not real.
I didn't think it was a shot necessarily strictly at the Packers. I think it was an at-large shot, and the shoe fits. The Packers wore it.
If anything, it was more of a shot at the Eagles. Like, I guarantee you,
I thought so too.
I can promise you, if Matt LaFleur and Ben Johnson flipped teams right now and were in the same situation, they would have done the exact same thing.
I don't know.
Ben Johnson
with
would
the
not
Love
have played.
concussion thing, I don't know.
But you think Ben Johnson would have played Jordan Love? I don't think he would have. If Ben Johnson was the coach of the Packers and Matt LaFleur was the coach of the Bears, the same exact thing would have.
I guess I don't know. I guess because I could also see a situation, and the Packers have done this before, where they're like, "We're gonna." What the Packers have done, and it's annoyed me to no end, is they've tried to half-ass it, where they play their guys for like a half or a quarter,
right,
and then the whole time you're just holding your breath, saying, "Please don't get hurt." I specifically remember Davante Adams trying to set a franchise record, and him and Aaron Rodgers were just throwing the ball back and forth to each other for like a quarter, and Davante was like getting smoked, and everyone's like, "All right, can we please get this over with? Like, let's get this enough."
Yeah. I guess I don't know. To answer your question, Will?
I think if anything, it was more of a shot at the Eagles, who actually had something to play for. Like if the Eagles would have won, they would have gotten the 2 seed.
I do agree with you on that. I think, but I think it's a shoe fits.
Or maybe it just wasn't a shot.
It may not have been.
As we know with sports, Caleb Williams, for instance, talking about being doubted throughout the course of his life, despite being the number 1 overall pick and a 5-star recruit. People find reasons to pick stuff apart. They find motivation. Michael Jordan famously did it. So the Packers, if it's about them or not, I don't think...
This is a bulletin board situation.
Yes, I don't think it matters.
It's very similar to the Michael Jordans. Like, people always bring up the story about him not making varsity, but he went on JV and dropped like 40 points a game and then got brought up to varsity like instantly. Like, that's not a real motivation story. Like Michael
Aaron
Jordan.
Rodgers is classic for those too, where it's like a perceived slight, and it's like, I don't remember it really being that way. Right. Sure, Alex Smith went before you and you fell in the draft, but you were still a first-round pick. You guys were talked about in the same conversation. Like, the insult you're imagining isn't the insult you've taken it as.
But to your point, it's just like guys need to find that internal motivation, because if you're satisfied with being the first overall pick, then what, right? Like,
then what?
Caleb Williams,
Marcus Russell.
Yeah, Caleb Williams' motivation has probably just been turning on Colin Cowherd for like the past however many months, just seeing him rip on him.
It's fair. Fair. All right, I'm going to make a statement, and either of you can cut me off and disagree. It's a 2-part statement. Statement 1. There is more pressures. Let's start over. Statement 1. There is more pressure on the Packers to win on Saturday.
Disagree.
Why?
They have so many. Like, I wouldn't expect them to win with all the injuries that they have.
You're a
coming
Bears
in as
fan.
the 7th seed. Well, yeah. I wish the situation was flipped, where the Bears were the 7th seed with nothing to lose. I feel like the Packers are playing with house money, truly.
But you said the same thing about the Bears last week.
Yeah, but that was before they were good.
Last week?
I didn't say that last week. We recorded a See, you're lying again. This is number 2 lie. We went on a Mr. Relevant podcast, and I said they're not playing with house money anymore. Said that last week.
You're right. You did say that last week.
I affirmed my position.
So expectations have moved, is effectively what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean,
Bears.
I think, but obviously, like, you want to beat, like, when the playoffs were playing out, like, last week and the picture was playing out, this is, for both teams, this is the team you want to beat the most, but it's the last team you want to lose to. If that makes any sense.
It does make sense. So I actually disagree with that, because as I said at the beginning of the show, well, I agree with what I said. I disagree with what you said. Obviously, I agree with what I said. I don't know that I needed to say that.
Liar again.
What?
You just Thank you for correcting and letting us all know you agree with yourself.
Well, why I said
In
that,
case
though,
there
is
was any uncertainty.
I
some
still
people-
view
I thought
the
you disagreed with
the
yourself.
expectations have not really moved either way for me. The expectations are the expectations are the expectations. So for the Bears, I think they're ahead of schedule. I think they are a team that is winning now and will be here to stay for a while because I am a Ben Johnson believer. We talked about that way back when he was hired, that the worst case scenario for the NFC North and the Packers in particular was that Ben Johnson took the Chicago job. It's working earlier than I think a lot of people expected, maybe even Ben Johnson. But the Packers are still, regardless of the injuries, in an all-in season. They paid their quarterback $55 million. This is a coach in year 7. This is still a defense in which a lot of investment has gone into, whether you look at that via first-round picks, contract extensions, etc. I know Rashawn Gary has stunk up the joint the last 3 months, but he is still a top 15 paid edge rusher in the National Football League. That's a heavy investment. So for me, I think it's year 1 of an all-in cycle that maybe lasts 3 years max, 4 years max. So you still have to capitalize and win playoff games, even if, we view it as they're not going to win the Super Bowl. So I view more pressure to win the game on the Packers all in, but I view more pressure to win the game coaches-wise on Ben Johnson to back up a lot of the smack talk, which was real smack talk. I like beating Matt LaFleur twice a year, etc.
I'll admit that was smack talk.
That one was smack talk.
Friendly conversation. That was smack talk.
Yeah, thank you. I think there's more pressure on Ben Johnson to prove, to go back to something I said 5 minutes ago, that the 6 comeback wins were not fluky. That them winning the NFC North in year 1 of his tenure was not fluky. The fact that they are here, they have arrived, and that this is maybe to prove something I just said wrong, which is maybe they're not ahead of schedule. Maybe this is just the Chicago Bears are good now. So I view it Packers at large, more pressure, Ben Johnson coach-wise, more pressure. Those are my 2 statements when it comes to pressure in this game on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's all in sort of your perception and how you feel about it. I do think the Ben Johnson, the 2 times beating them, that factors in here. I also think the way Bears fans have handled success also puts a lot of added pressure on them because it hasn't been graceful. And it's definitely a situation where you can't say act like you've been there before because they have not behaved that way. So I think
Other fans certainly haven't.
I think there's a lot of people who've got a lot to lose. I do think, though, on the inverse, losing to the Bears is about as calamitous of an end to the season as you could imagine for the Packers. It would change the perception of we still own you, basically the domination since Brett Favre took over in 1992, where that conversation would then become less effective. And it would have to be, well, you got us this time, but just keep waiting. We'll see you next year. Like that. That's not going to carry the same weight. I do think we have to pay attention to also for what it could mean for the head coach, because now both Rob Domofsky and Adam Schefter have made it sound like LaFleur's status is truly unknown. I thought, regardless of the outcome of the wild card round, that Matt LaFleur would be back as head coach and they would try and figure out some sort of extension. And the sound of it now is we truly don't know. And it could be a re-signing. It could be they do nothing and play out the year, or they could be looking for a new head coach, which to me adds amount of stakes that I don't think really would equal what's going on with Chicago.
I do want to get to the LaFleur thing. We'll hit one word. We'll hit what we missed here in the last half an hour of the show. But I do want to give us enough and ample time to discuss the Matt LaFleur thing, because obviously there is a lot of conversation. He would be entering a lame duck year. In the 3 situations you just laid out, the fact they go to a divorce, and this is Matt LaFleur's final season in Green Bay. They ride out the final year, and he is in a lame duck contract situation, or he gets an extension. What do you think is most likely and least likely of those 3?
I still think the most likely is an extension.
I agree with that.
I then think the second most likely is
Divorce.
they part ways.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, Ed Policy put words to it and said, the few things I've heard the guy say, one of them that stuck out the most to all of us is we don't want to do lame ducks, and we're not trying to have that happen here. So that to me seems the most unlikely. Now, I do think there's a potential for that, even though I think it's the least likely, where the Packers get stuck because they try and play hardball and say, well, you haven't proven enough to earn the $16 million a year over 5 years contract. So here's 3 years for 15, and he can kind of balk at that, because I still do believe, and I said it on here on Monday, that I think the Packers need Matt LaFleur more than Matt LaFleur needs the Packers. I think that there's a degree of, what are you going to do? Who's the candidate and who's the successor that you would feel really good about being the head coach? You could say, well, we'd give the job to Jeff Hafley. Well, then what the hell are you doing on offense? Adam Stenavich can't run an offense.
No.
Who's the hot candidate then? Is that person going to then want to join? Are you going to bring somebody up? Hope Mike McDaniel gets fired? Like,
do you wait? Do you just hope Luke Getsy's finally figured it out? Because
no,
he's internal right now. Well, I'm saying, would that be an option?
That type of hire would be equal to when the Packers hired Joe Barry, and everyone went, "Huh?
Yeah, that's true.
What are they doing?"
That's true.
That seems like a really bad idea.
Yeah.
So the Packers would have, like, sort of to go through a whole reshuffling where Matt LaFleur could say, "I'll ride this out, because guess what? After 2026, I'm going to be the biggest commodity out there, and I'm going to be able to dictate my terms and how much I get paid."
Yeah. Here's where I'm at on LaFleur. I agree with your rankings of the most likely to least likely situation. I think number one is an extension, a full-blown extension, whether that's 3 or 4 years, whatever. I think second most likely is a divorce, but I think there's a big gap between those two. I think the extension is very likely, and that's because I think
I felt the same way until both Rod and Adam said all options remain, which would lead me to believe they've been told,
well,
or that's at least the company line right now.
So I mean, the season's still ongoing, so I don't know that they've gotten a clear response, which makes me think that's maybe why they're saying that. If they get boat raced on Saturday, which again I think is unlikely, but to go with the line of all options are on the table, the game hasn't happened yet.
I was going to say, does it seem that unlikely with the performance we saw against the Ravens?
No, but Jordan Love.
It's probably close. Yes, but we've seen it happen. I mean, Malik Willis was scoring at will for 3.5 quarters.
He was really good in that game. You're right. But so again, all options on the table. Let's just go through a hypothetical for a moment. If the Packers get boat raced by Chicago, let's say they lose 27-7, okay? Then I think the gap is much smaller between those two options. I think all of a sudden you're going, well, I know you were beat up, but that's a pathetic performance with a week to prepare. You had your healthy quarterback. You had a healthy offensive line. You had a running back on 2 weeks rest. You have all your wide receivers outside of Tucker Kraft, who we'll technically throw in there, and Bo Melton, who went on IR today. I don't know that an excuse would exist for only scoring 7 points for your offensive guru or a guy who's supposed to be an offensive guru. So maybe that would have them reevaluate. But if the Packers either A, win or B, lose in a close game, I think you go, okay, you'll get Tucker Kraft back, you'll get Micah Parsons back, you'll get Devontae Wyatt back. Next year, you better make a run, and we're going to be closely evaluating you, but you've earned a contract extension. You win a lot. It's not like his record is horrible since Aaron Rodgers left. It's 37-30-1. I still think, and one of those years was supposed to be a rebuild year, might add, and they exceeded expectations and won a playoff game in that year. So I think the odds are the Packers, and they have more level-headed people in that building than we are as fans, right? That's just natural. I think people in the NFL realize it's really hard to make the playoffs 3 years in a row. It's really hard to maintain relevancy when you move on from a Hall of Fame quarterback. They've made the playoffs every year since moving on from Aaron Rodgers. So all of those things put together, I think the people internally will go, hey, we know, and we can point to many, many examples across the NFL landscape that the grass ain't always greener on the other side. And the thing that keeps getting brought up with LaFleur, which doesn't necessarily mean he's valuable or invaluable to the Packers, it just proves how he's viewed in the league. If the Packers are to move on, he's getting a job right away. Right? You hear that with John Harbaugh. You hear that with Kevin Stefanski. Those are the two names really that you expect to get a job this cycle, who were just let go within the last couple of days. LaFleur, it would be the same thing. Every team, like Harbaugh, would call up LaFleur and say, hey, we want to talk to you about our job, because he's been that good. And I don't think moving on in the middle of what I view as an all-in tenure, an all-in time period for the Packers, is good for your championship chances. I find that hard to believe because this team's all in. Making a head coaching change in the middle of your all-in period, I think that could be detrimental to year 2 of this all-in period. So that's why I don't think they're moving on.
Yeah, I agree with all of it. It sort of resets the scales. The thing that makes it more possible is, do you have back channel conversations with a guy like Harbaugh who you think, well, we can just sort of switch things out here. He brings Todd Monk in. We figure out, does Jeff Hafley stay, et cetera, et cetera. Now you feel pretty good about that. Like a Ben Johnson type hire for the Packers wouldn't make sense.
Right.
Like a first timer. It had to be a guy with some success. Unfortunately, the two guys with success is one is Harbaugh, who's going to be the most highly coveted, and the other one would be a retread of Mike McCarthy. That would be basically your two options for it to make sense.
Do you think the Packers were one of at least 2 teams that had a head coach that reached out about?
I don't think so.
I
wouldn't be shocked if at some point they had a conversation, but I don't think they would do it before the season's officially over.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
Like even if it's a close loss, I wouldn't be shocked if the Packers did sort of kick the tires and say, "Well, what do we got going on?"
I wonder
here?
which teams that was, though.
Like
maybe
Josina
the Jets?
Anderson reported that one of the teams was the Miami Dolphins, which makes a ton of sense
Yep.
with the way Stephen Ross basically tried to back up the Brinks truck for Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Obviously the Michigan man connection there on that whole thing. And I don't know, but there's also just look around. There's plenty of guys who are like, I mean, I guess it makes sense that coach stays,
Sure.
but it's not like that guy is special by any sort of the stretch of the imagination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, interesting. All right, just a quick tangent there. I don't know. I'm fascinated by the coaching vacancies. And we talk probably more national sports on this show than we do on any other show on ESPN Wisconsin because I'm a football fan. We're all football fans, and the Harbaugh thing, getting calls from 7 teams when there's 7 openings is wild to me.
Right. Because the Ravens aren't calling it.
And I thought Schefter this morning with you guys on Jen Game and Chewy he made a hilarious analogy that maybe wasn't perfect, but he said that's like going out on a date in public when you're married.
Yes.
You know, with your mistress. I don't know if it's a perfect analogy, but I get what he's saying.
He also indicated that while it was 7 at the time, it certainly has become more than 7. So there's more than one team with a head coach that has reached out.
Right. And we know the Ravens aren't one of them when there's 7 openings. Right?
They could be. Maybe they realized they messed up.
Cold feet, yeah.
John, come back.
Left him at the altar and then said, wait a minute, let's run this thing back. Get to the courthouse, buddy. No, the Harbaugh thing's fascinating to me. I don't think any other coaches will get fired. Maybe Tomlin?
I have a feeling there's one playoff team that'll fire their coach.
Who would it would be Tomlin,
I think it would be
LaFleur.
Tomlin, LaFleur.
It wouldn't be Canales.
No. I think the Buccaneers coach might get fired.
Bowles?
Yeah.
Especially now that Harbaugh's available.
You know what?
That might have been the team
that might have been a team that called about it. Yeah, that's a good point by you.
Harbaugh and Baker put butts in seats.
Put butts in seats, indeed. Although Lamar and Harbaugh seemingly didn't work out there at the end.
No.
So who knows? All right, let's get to One Word Wednesday. Will's got a list of topics we will answer with one word, sometimes more, sometimes less, as we discuss anything we've missed so far this week, which I imagine some of these head coaching firings may have made the cut. Yes, no, maybe so.
We got some stats in there about the coach firings.
Stats.
Oh boy,
we also missed a bunch of stuff over break too. So
yeah, we did.
Okay,
so this is just cleanup One Word.
Yeah, we got
Wednesday.
some cleanup.
All right, I love it. Let's get to it. It's One Word Wednesday time right here on Mr. Irrelevant.
All right. I really only have one thing that we missed over break, but I thought this was hilarious. So have you guys seen the clips of Jaylen Brown leaving hairspray on his opponents?
No.
Yes.
He sprays in his hair, and he's done a move during a game, and when the opponents are wearing white jerseys, the hairspray rubs off on their jerseys.
It's like the hair filler.
Yeah.
He has a good head of hair, though.
No, he doesn't.
No, he doesn't.
Since when?
Google Jaylen Brown hair marks.
So anyways, there's clips of him leaving his hairspray marks on players, probably with the sweat and everything. And I think People Magazine asked him about it, and he said, "You have the residue of a champion on you. Those dudes should be grateful. They're lucky that I left my mark on them. You have the residue of a champion on you. You're welcome."
I like it. Yeah, I'm thinking of when he used to have the what do we call this? Where it's flat at the top.
Flat top?
Yeah, that's exactly it. What's it called when it's flat on the top? It's Classic me moment. He used to have a good head of hair with a flat top.
Hey,
but
goes fast.
He's been buzzed for the last 2 seasons or so. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it's like hair filler spray. Interesting. I have not seen that.
It's so interesting to me that everyone knows your hair is fake. You're acknowledging your hair is fake, but you're still doing it. Like, isn't just going shaved head? Like, I mean, you're a freak athlete. You're worth millions. You probably would look pretty good just going fully shaved anyways.
But then you let the people win. You can't. I mean, he played it perfectly. You have the residue of a champion.
You have a residue of a champion on you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I like that. I like that quote.
So is your word like?
Oh, I guess I haven't done a word yet. I was just confused. But no, my word is hair.
My word's going to be home. Come on home, brother. Just shave it, get rid of it, move on.
You're not to that point, are you, with your hair?
No, I have a former hairdresser that lives in the same house as me. Mussolini, we call her. I've told her she has carte blanche to do as is she deems necessary.
Got it.
So I've said for a while, should I just shave it? And she said, no, you have enough hair still. I said, okay.
Okay. When that day comes, let us know.
She cuts my hair, so she gets a better view of it than me, honestly.
That's true. Especially when you're wearing hats all day.
Yes.
All right, going back to the John Harbaugh Lamar thing. John Harbaugh, his postseason record before Lamar Jackson, 8-4.
Okay.
After drafting Lamar Jackson, 3-6. Thoughts?
Yeah, that's a good one. Fraud? Question mark, though, on the fraud.
Because you don't know which one's a fraud?
No, Lamar. Is Lamar a fraud?
I'm going to say old. Maybe, and I know he's the most coveted guy out there, maybe he's lost his touch. Maybe he's not as good of a head coach. Maybe some of the struggles we've seen from the team, and let's be honest, Lamar's put together some horrifically bad playoff performances to this point. But maybe John Harbaugh doesn't have what it takes to connect with younger and younger teams.
I don't know about that.
I don't know either, but he's not.
But the thing that
he's a
confuses
classic.
me-
I'm not interested in the CEO type of coach.
So that's what I was about to bring
Yeah.
up. The thing that fascinates me about him is he's not a play caller. He came up as a special teams guy.
He's not an offensive guy. He's not a defensive guy. He's the special teams guy.
Which, okay, sure. He understands the operations portion. He understands how to be a head coach. So I understand why he's appealing. And he's won. He's had very good track record overall with coordinators. Not so much with our guy Zach Orr.
I like attaching the teams that I think are going to have the most success are the teams where the head coach is the decision maker on either side of the ball. To me, that's the way you do it. I lean more towards offense because I think, as we all have seen with the rule changes, offense is where the NFL wants the league to go. So having a guy like Ben Johnson, Matt LaFleur, Kyle Shanahan, Sean McVay that can really exploit that stuff, I think that's the way to be the most consistently successful and have your team in the playoffs competing for Super Bowls the most often.
Yeah. No argument here. What's your word? Old. Old was your word.
Yeah.
Old.
I forgot.
All right, this is a pretty fascinating story that's been making its rounds recently. Washington quarterback DeMond Williams wants to enter the transfer portal, but the university says he has signed a legally binding revenue share contract and intends to go after him if it's broken.
Yeah, my word will be West, Wild Wild West. That's the world we live in, man. There's no rules in this transfer portal thing.
Didn't the Badgers get into a dispute with the corner?
It was the defensive back that went to Miami, and I'm blanking on his name right now. I don't know that was ever settled in court, but I know it got to court.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're signing a contract, you got to honor the contract, and there's no rules. So, if it's legally binding, I assume Washington would win in this case. It's really strange. It's really strange.
But there's nothing stopping the school that's going to get him from just accepting him in and then letting him play, because no one's going to stop him. Right.
I mean, unless the legally binding contract says unless you enroll somewhere you are not eligible. But can the NCAA actually enforce that?
You can't enforce that. What is that based on?
It's so strange.
Yeah.
We need rules, man. The college basketball coaches that have been going off recently about the NBA draft pick that's enrolled. I mean, like, the hell are we doing here,
I mean,
man?
Illinois, too. They got a guy from, like, the Euro League, and he's playing.
Yeah, well, I remember we talked about it a little bit last year when Green Bay basketball actually sucked, and they got, like, that 28-year-old from overseas who had played 9 professional seasons overseas, but he'd never been to the U.S. before, so, yeah, he's technically eligible. Like, okay, I guess.
Yeah.
Doug Gottlieb doing whatever he could last year.
We should. There's a very easy way to fix it is just like an age maximum. Except for very specific instances.
But hold on, but then we would never get J.R. Smith on the golf team, you know? Those are great moments.
Tyler Shuck.
He
probably never would have got drafted if they didn't give him all those extra years.
Get a job. That's all I have to say to all those people.
Well, Tyler Shuck got a job, and he's good at it. And he's good at it.
He did.
He would have never gotten this job.
I just have no interest in watching 25, 26-year-olds.
I don't know, Joshy. It's
I don't think any of the sports are better for it.
I would say this. I think this guy's dumb for trying to enter the transfer portal after signing a contract. You know what you signed, hopefully. Or maybe you don't, I guess.
He was pretty good this year. I think he threw like over 30 passing touchdowns. It was probably a lot of money, I'd imagine.
So why does he want to transfer?
I don't know.
Just to get more money?
Somebody else is giving him a bigger NIL.
Well, but is he losing his job? He has a revenue-sharing contract. So if he continues to star at Washington, he's going to make more money.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, but like Washington is not as big as, let's say, an LSU.
Sure.
So even your rev share there would be minuscule in comparison. It's the Washington Huskies.
True.
Like even an undefeated Washington team isn't going to make as many waves as a championship, a top 12 team that makes a playoff.
Yeah.
With the way Diego Pavia took over the NCAA, kid would be better served at Vanderbilt.
Yeah, I mean, yes, these days I hate it, frankly, and we're never going to solve the problems.
What I don't
the three
like,
of us as smart as I think we are.
What I don't like is a lot of the onus is being put on the kids, and the kids are doing what they think is personally best for them, but they're all being influenced by adults.
Yep.
Be it agents, be it coaches, be it boosters. It's to me, and I saw a kid, I believe it was a kid for Kansas State, saying, "I've been released."
I did see this as well. Yes.
As much as we want to talk about these kids being greedy and it being all about the money, well, he's getting cut and told, "Hey, hit the transfer portal because we don't
get it,
got."
bud. Well, that's what. I mean, there was a mass exodus from Colorado when Deion started there. Similar thing. Yeah, anybody can do anything, and it's
right.
It's depressing. I've been so checked out of college football, though. I've watched the playoff, but like regular season, other than the Badgers, which they haven't given me much to watch the last 2 years, I've had a hard time keeping up. It's too hard.
Got one more from our guy Joshy. He recommended this one.
I like how he's preloading this because he's nervous.
Yeah, I'm shielding myself. Former NFL star Matt Khalil sues his ex-wife after she compared his manhood to 2 Coke cans.
Yeah, I don't get it, man. Now, for full context, you shield yourself. Well, I will bring this up myself. So, yes, she's done multiple interviews. They got divorced.
Yes.
But they didn't get divorced because he cheated on her. They didn't get divorced because they had a falling out. They got divorced because they couldn't have relations because it was too painful for her. Because apparently he's got the largest member
2 Coke cans
of all time. Now, another angle of this story that came out within the last few weeks is that Ryan Khalil has gotten several offers from adult video websites to start participating in adult films. And I don't know that he's responded to these, but when it came out that he was so blessed in the member department.
Maybe cursed.
Sounds cursed, actually. But so it's not like she's going out there and defaming him, which I guess would be what the lawsuit is for, I assume, because it's technically slander. But it's also like, hey, by the way, this guy's got the largest rod in the United States of America. Like, that's kind of a compliment, right?
That I think you have to prove damages on his side.
Has it hurt his dating life, I guess would be the question.
And how do you prove that?
You can't. It's
Right.
It's completely
It
subjective.
seems like a bizarre thing. My one word is it's actually an acronym, HYB. Hell yeah, brother.
Mine was going to be congratulations. His name has been brought up more in the news cycle because of his dong than it has his football career. And he was an awesome player.
Yeah. Yeah, multi-time Pro Bowler.
I think that's the first time I've used the word dong in the show.
It felt a little egregious. We could have stuck with manhood.
Yeah.
And member.
Yeah.
Member.
Yeah.
I don't know. Member didn't feel appropriate because this apparently it's 2 members, 2 Coke cans. Crazy. Insane story.
Yeah, it's just like what do you,
HYB, hell yeah, brother.
like what is a court case going to be? This is
Former Mrs. Cleel, you were accused of saying your ex-husband.
does he have to prove it in a court of law that it's not 2 Coke cans? Sir, we're going to need you to drop pants and turn towards the jury.
Show it to us. We need to see it.
Yeah, what's Discovery on like this?
Is there like a saying, like if the Coke cans do not measure up, you cannot acquit?
Well, what if the Coke cans are actually larger? Then would she be incorrect and then he wins the court case?
I don't know. We're going to have to keep tabs on this one.
Yeah, we got to follow this one. Dr. Denver Dan says that guy can't even ride a bike. Probably right. All right, that does it for One Word Wednesday here on Mr. Relevant. It's time now for What We Missed. We didn't go too deep in the vocabulary department today, I don't think.
No.
He's just saying that because he doesn't have anything written down.
Josh used ostensibly, but I've done that before.
Yeah.
Like several times, actually.
Yeah. And I've done it.
Hey, how's the ice bath coming along?
It's good. I've transitioned to 2 big ice cubes because my tolerance is going up for cold.
Good for you.
Yeah, built tough, Ford tough.
Ford tough, yeah. Okay, that's good. I have not read a page of my book since we last talked. I've also been dealing, if you can't tell, I sneezed like 4 times before. I've been dealing with a little sinus thing, so I've been going to bed early.
Oh, okay.
What do you mean, okay? It's not an excuse.
I think Josh called this. He called the book burnout.
No, I'm going to
he said he read 170 pages in a day.
I'm going to read tonight.
Did you say that yesterday too?
No, I didn't. I am going to read. Well, actually, we got Bucks and 6 tonight. Got to watch the Bucks game. Bucks and 6, wherever you get your podcast. 6-minute recap if you don't watch the game tonight. So I'll be up late working on that. I'll probably read before I go to bed, though.
Good for you.
We'll revisit on Friday. I'll let you know how many pages I read. Josh, you think I'm just done, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
You think it's
I think
over?
you're going to eke your way through this book, finish it to say you did, and then have not much left in the tank.
Just running on empty the rest of the year.
It's a lot of work reading.
It's relaxing. I enjoyed it. But also, you got to remember, I picked this up during the holiday break where I had nothing else to do. So maybe he might be right. We'll find out. All right, more Packers Bears talk is coming up Friday as we give you one final preview at a Saturday night's wild card game. A reminder, I'll be on Green Bay game day before the game. That begins at 4 o'clock on Saturday. Our full-blown preview with Gabe Neitzel, John Anderson of ESPN and Wipeout fame, and our resident Super Bowl champion, Brian Bulaga, with us from 4 until 7 Central on Saturday before the game. Jason Wilde, Rob Demovsky will join us from Chicago to preview the game as well on that program. So I hope you can join us on Saturday beginning at 4 o'clock. But don't forget, we're back with you Friday beginning at 12:30 Central. ESPN Milwaukee, ESPN Madison on YouTube is when we are live. And, of course, if you missed the live, you can get it wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and the all-new ESPN Wisconsin app. Joshy, Will, good job today. I think we broke the record for saying the word member on an episode.
Manhood.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Talk to you dongs on Friday. Peace.
I'm upset we didn't get to say howitzer.
We're done here.